Energized show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Ross, introduce the guests, man.
Today we have IMMAF, Team Ireland's head coach and head coach of Team Rhino, Mr. Andy Ryan. And we also have IMMAF gold medalist, Ryan Keogh. Lads, how are we doing?
Good, yeah. Glad to be on.
Good, great.
Lads, welcome to the show. For people that are unaware, the Irish MMA team are going over to represent Ireland at the IMMAF World Championships this January, the 24th to the 29th. We've done 2 shows already with 2 guys and 2 girls, and today we have one of the gold medalists, Ryan Keogh, and the head coach, Mr. Andrew Ryan. So, lads, thanks a minute for joining us. Roscoe, take it away, bud.
Not long now before you make that flight over to Abu Dhabi. Andy, obviously you've been to a few of these now. What have you learned from previous events that you're bringing into this one?
Well, what we wanted to bring in, we couldn't with the lockdown, but we've learned a lot from the last few events. And Ryan will tell you that the level is off the charts. You know, it's growing on every time. Most events we can get 2 entries in. We can only get 1 in. The odds in certain ways we get a second person in. Just shows you how many people are competing this time. This is probably going to be the biggest and toughest worlds. For me, we don't have the preparation that we had for the ones before, where we did a lot of squad sessions and we had the lads sparring together and stuff. But listen, hopefully they've done that in their own gyms, and we can see how we go from there.
And Andy, with this one, obviously, like you said, you couldn't get the cross training you were looking to get in. But in terms of other nations, how many other nations are competing in this?
Oh, I haven't got a clue the full number, but I know it's packed. I know it's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, I know there's like 32 people in my division. I know that at least 32.
Every weight category, there's 32 people in them. You know, and some countries have 2 bodies in and some don't. But I think it's the biggest one so far. That's the way it's looking anyway.
And obviously, this is probably the most talented team we've had, Andy. How tough was squad selection?
Yeah, so realistically, this is the team that was selected for last year's World Championships. So a lot of people were a bit confused on that. They were, can we do the trials for the Worlds? No, this is the Worlds that didn't happen in December. So this team had been picked over squad sessions we ran through the year and then results. So Ryan had a gold medal, so he wasn't going to lose his spot, but he'd been at all the squads and he was selected number 1 anyway. But he's moving from junior to senior now, Ryan. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, I'm senior now, over 21.
Senior now, yeah. So like he was a gold medalist, so he was the number 1 selection for that. Like Max Lally, he was the same. He's come up from cadets, and we put him into the junior 21s. But yeah, listen, the selection is hard. There's a lot of athletes out there that should be fighting for these spots that aren't at the moment, but hopefully that will change next year.
Absolutely. And Ryan, how do you feel about having another go at the IMMAF, stepping up an age category now? Do you feel like there'll be a bit of a target on your back? You know, when you get there, people know you've won gold medal before.
Probably. I don't really give a shit, to be honest. I'm just going to go over and do the exact same thing that I done in Prague. So I'm going to go there, focus on myself, focus on my team, train, just eat well, watch me weight, don't overdo it. Like, the main thing is when you win your first fight, like, you haven't won anything yet. You know what I mean? You're going to have 4 or 5 more fights. So, like, what you need to do is you fight, go back, get changed, go back to the hotel, rest for the next day, for the next couple of days. That was a big mistake I made the first time I ever went over in 2019. I hadn't even had a fight. Hadn't even fought amateur before. So I went over, won my first fight. So, like, I was like, oh, deadly. I was buzzing with myself. And I kind of, like, let me guard down then for the rest of the fights, you know what I mean? You just got to stay focused until you get the gold medal, until you get your hand raised in the final.
And then obviously you run as a competitor. Will that change your fighting style? Would you try and be more conservative in the first fight, or will you? Not really,
no. No, because, like, at the end of the day, you're only having 1 3-minute fight for the day. You know what I mean? Like, every day in the gym, you're doing, like, rounds on rounds. So realistically, it's not that much on your body. Once you put your head to it and you put your mind to it, you're gonna go through it no matter what. Like, I know in the semi-finals, no one knows this, but I had the shits going into that fight. Yeah, that morning. Like, I don't know, it could have been the food I was eating or something. Something was off.
Yeah, you were cutting weight every watching your weight every day as well. It catches up. That's what people think. People don't realise what Ryan had to do to get that medal. It wasn't just turn up and have, one 3-minute rounds on the first day. He had to make weight and do a medical every morning of that event. So you can't switch up and go on holiday mode. And I think actually Ryan's actually style suits the IMMAFs. You know, it's not. He's very focused on what he does and has a game plan. He doesn't go in like a headless chicken or swinging for bombs. And you'll see that with a lot of the advanced guys. They don't go in and have wars. They're tactical. They have a plan. They win round by round because it's a long week. You go in there and have a barn burner and knock the head out of each other. You might win the fight, but you might fail your medical the next morning. And that's part and parcel of it. So I actually think Ryan has a good game plan for this type of fight.
And if you take it slowly and you try one round by round, eventually that finish is going to come.
Yeah, exactly.
Andy, you've obviously been the head coach for a while now with the IMMAF team, and there's obviously going to be a few people tuning in now, like who are going over as part of Team Ireland. For the people who are listening on Spotify, the names are going across the bottom of the screen now on YouTube, so make sure to check that out. But Andy, what do you have to say for the people going over competing for Team Ireland? Maybe it's their first time. Like, what sort of something that they really need to know in preparation for heading over to Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, the big thing for me is be confident in your abilities, be confident in yourself, because fellas come over, it's a real Irish cliche, come over there and you get drawn against someone from, Russia, or you get drawn against Brazil, I'm going to get beaten here. No, hang on a minute. We've world champions on the team. We've won medals at every event. We're in the top, 5, I think, countries in the world.
Top 5 at least, yeah.
So it's a big thing. But you have to be part of the team. Don't be over there and try and do it all on your own. There's a team around you, and make sure you're part of that team. It's hard if you want to be, the superstar on their own, or someone that sits, doesn't want to be part of the team. Be part of the team. It makes things easier. Guys to cut weight with, go weigh in with, chill out after the fights, and be there to support your teammates, because they need your support as well. So it works both ways. Be a team player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Ross, that's exactly why we love supporting Team Irish MMA, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Andy, you're bringing over quite a large coaching team. Various coaches have, various areas of expertise. But how important is it from a mindset point of view to, find out what fighter needs what on the day of their competition?
Yeah, so the way there's a big coaching squad going, because most fighters are bringing their own coaches with them. So that's how we sort of allow it. So what happened before was a lot of coaches didn't bother traveling, and it was a lot of work for myself, Liam and Dino, so it was a bit crazy. So, like the national coaching squad for the seniors is myself, Liam, Danny Carr, and Paddy Hoolan. We're sort of the national coaching squad. But fighters coming over bring their own coaches, no problem. But they have to be part of the team there for the week. So we'll say to a coach, "Okay, you're coming over here. Say for me, Nadine Abbott, our business is coming over. So, Andy, you're her coach. Yeah, okay, but you got to be there to help out everyone for the week. Don't just come up, your fighter gets beaten and wins the first day and piss off on a holiday. That's not how it works. You're there for the week. You're part of the team. You're there to help everybody out."
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You want that. You want that team environment. You know what I mean? And you want to help each other grow and learn. One thing that has happened time and time again has been two Irish athletes meeting each other in the final. What is that like? Obviously, there's great pride probably for yourself being both Team Ireland, but there's also that issue of where do you fall in line of coaching, Andy, when just say neither fighter was your own, and then also what way is that sort of structure for the day of the final?
Yeah, so there is no problems. We've had that before. So usually what we do is if their own club coaches are with them, we'll ask them then to get someone to be a second and give a hand in the corner, wherever you're most comfortable with. If it's me, I don't care who wins. Once we get that result and both fighters are happy and it's a fair fight, the best person's going to come out on top. So it doesn't matter whose corner you're in. And as well as that, this is the thing that I say this all the time. It's not like an MMA fight on a Saturday night. You're going to Cage Legacy, or you're going to Cage Conflict, or Clan Wars, or one of these. It's an event. It's totally different than that Saturday night show. You're having breakfast with the guys you're fighting. Never mind your own country, from guys from another country. You're on the warm-up. You're sitting on the bus beside them going to the venue. You're in the warm-up area together. There's no separate changing rooms, or it's a big man area. Everyone warms up together. You do pads and stretching beside the guy you're fighting with. You're standing beside him, walking out in the waiting area to come out and fight. And the fights, there's no fancy music. When the fight's over, you're back in the change room. You're fighting another guy who was in that room the next day. So it's more competition. It's like going to a jiu-jitsu event. It's very, for me, it's brilliant. It's that competitive vibe there, So it takes away that.
Yeah, it really throws you in there, like.
Yeah.
Does it sound a bit more like almost a US collegiate wrestling meet that what it's probably close to?
It's like going to any martial arts event. So you come from a judo background or karate or kick, that's the way events happen. You know, like we don't go into a separate change room and give each other the dirty looks. You know, you're on the mat warming up together. You know, we've been sitting on the bus with guys that we've been fighting on the way to the venue, warming up beside them. You know, and then you get in and you fight, and that's the end of it.
Okay, so Ryan, obviously you won gold last time you represented Ireland. Like after you won the gold, how did that feel? And like, what's it feel like to win gold for Ireland?
It felt pretty normal, to be honest, because in my head I had already won it. You know what I mean? Like since I started MMA training, since I started competing in jiu-jitsu and everything, I'd seen all the older lads going over and fighting in the IMMAFs. Like it wasn't as advanced as it was now, but it was still like the most prestigious thing you could do at amateur. So like when I was seeing like people say in school, for instance, like my mates are like, oh, I can't wait to finish school, whatever, go to college, get a degree. I was like, I can't wait to finish school, go to the IMMAFs and win a world gold medal. You know what I mean? So I was building up from such a long time, and when it happened, I was like, right, yeah, like, it wasn't too much of a shock to me or anything. You know what I mean?
Was
it
still
like,
a
this is
special
where I was
moment
meant
though,
to. Oh, 100%.
on the podium with the Irish flag wrapped
big
around
milestone, yeah, 100%. Like, because there's not that many people that can say that they won gold medal for Ireland, especially in mixed martial arts, because it's so young and it's growing.
And I suppose it's the only actual opportunity to represent Ireland in mixed martial arts. You know what I mean? Like when you go off and you fight in Bellator or UFC, you can walk to the ring or the cage with an Irish flag, but you're technically just representing yourself and maybe your gym. I suppose this is the only chance you get to actually represent.
Yeah, you're there with the team, Ireland. You're there for your team.
With
like the Olympics, it's like it's the next best thing to the Olympics.
Yeah, I look at it as the Olympics of.
It basically is, because there's nothing after that.
And Ryan, with this, would you be the first ever Irish person to win back-to-back gold medals?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't think anyone's done that before.
Andy,
especially 2 world gold medals. Is that right?
Well, Ryan's is a World Cup medal. It wasn't a World Championships. This is a World Championships. So it's the whole idea is that they're going to have like a World Championships, a World Team Championships, and then they'll have international events, but they call them World Cups. They robbed that from like wrestling and judo, stuff like that. So it'll be like say if we have an Irish one, it'll be the Irish World Cup, or it's just a competition. So I'm not too sure if anyone else has won 2 medals back to back. I know that Alex O'Sullivan, I think, has won the most medals, as in I think he took a bronze and silver in nearly every event he went to. But Nadine has a couple of medals as well, but not golds. And then Sean O'Bannon has a gold and a silver. But I think Ryan is in for a good show here. This is going to be a step up now because he's going to go into the adults. Plus, there's going to be more countries here. You know, some of the big hitters went there for some of the World Cups, and with the COVID and stuff. But we'll see now. That's why I think I would have really likened the whole squad to be together a little bit more. As Ryan will tell you that when you go over it, like it's no longer 10 fellas turning up from a country. You know, there's some of the countries here, the Kazakhs and the Bahrain, the Russians. You know, the doctors with them, physios with them. I think there's 65, 70 people on each team. You know, it's crazy. So,
and they're also funded as well by the government, a lot of them as well. So
yeah, some of the countries are. Yeah, I know. I was talking to the Bulgarians before, and all the guys that were on the team were on a wage. They were on an allowance to train, and they all train full time. Yeah, I think as well. Someone was saying that the Bahrainians and some of the Russians, when they win, they're getting 25,000. They got a gold medal, something like that.
Yeah, well, if you look at probably the most famous I'm athlete of all time, probably Mohammed Mokayev. You know what I mean? I feel like he stayed amateur so long and was so well known in the scene. He was definitely making some form of money off it. And I suppose he is someone who's now 6-0 in the UFC.
Yeah, I think he was backed by the Prince, wasn't he? He was a KHK fighter.
I think so. Yeah.
I think Jer Harris would have beaten him if he had a fight.
Yeah, definitely. Well, who knows? Jer, I think, is making his pro debut in March this year.
I think Jer would have been a tough fight for him. Yeah.
Definitely.
Jer could have beaten him.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them meet in the future. What's he called?
He never fought senior, did he, Mokayev? He just fought.
No. 2019 was his last fight.
He fought. He fought you. He never fought.
Ryo Yamaguchi. Yeah. Junior.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a funny one sometimes at the IMMAF trim, because obviously you're randomly drawn, and like you'll see him and he's like 19-0 as an amateur, and he'll fight a fella who's making his amateur debut, and you're like, Jesus, like that's rough. But at the end of the day,
it's just how it is.
It is how it is, and that's the way.
Well, there's very few of that now, because most guys are coming from a good background in sport or good amateur records. And a big team that stood out for me at the World Cup that we were at was a Spanish team. They had a small team there. I think they had 7 fighters. They had 6 in the medals. I think 5 in the finals. But they were really good. But they all had like 20 to 30 MMA fights. They were fighting constantly. But I was watching how they were doing the fights. It was just it was 3 3-minute rounds in the cage. It wasn't a big deal to them. They were getting in and fighting and going cornering each other, warming each other up, going around their flip-flops. They weren't making a big deal of it, but they were. I was talking to one or two of them. One was a very experienced judo player, and I watched these fights. He went out, took people down, held them on the ground for a couple of seconds, threw a couple of shots, got back to his feet, and done the same thing for 3 rounds. I don't think he submitted someone or knocked someone out in the whole event, but just stuck to that game plan, took away a gold medal,
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think this is the most talented team we've ever had? And do you expect potentially the largest medal haul Ireland's ever had?
2 things. I don't think the medal haul is going to be as big as we've had some other years because of our preparation and the training and COVID and shit like that. So a lot of fellas have been either sick or injured. I think some of the experienced guys, I think the likes of, some of the girls, I think the girls went for shouting medal. Ryan, I think Max Lally, Taylor Quinn. There's a few guys that have the experience, but they're not as experienced as some of the teams we had. Like when we had Lee Hammond and we had Jer Harris and a few other guys there before. It was experienced. I think this team is a bit of a mix and match. To be honest with you, I think a lot of them haven't seen this level of competition. But it depends on the draw. It depends how you feel as well. I think the experienced guys, if they can start off to a win away, we're laughing. They need to show the newer guys on the team this is how it's done,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I suppose it all comes down to the day, like you said. You know what I mean? Like Ryan said, you could be up against someone and they might be technically better than you, but they might have the shits on the day and they might not feel great when they get in there.
I pushed through anyway, literally.
Got all out of you before you stepped in.
Yeah, just looking at the squad now, there's a lot of names on it that we're really looking forward to seeing, and as it gets closer, we'll be promoting the event more and more. So that's why people tune in now. Make sure to follow the lads on their social medias to follow the journey. Hopefully, straight to gold. Ryan, it'll be the second time picking up gold for Ireland. But Andy, how important is it for people to actually be part of this IMMAF team in their future development to hopefully to go on to be Irish superstars?
Yeah, like people, I see some comments sometimes about so-and-so was picked and why isn't A, B or C picked? The simple reason is you didn't do the trials or your club is not involved. Get involved. We need everybody involved. We need more players. Like to think that it's someone said, it's all Team Rhino, it's all SBG. They're winning spots, but they're from different gyms. Get onto the team. There's some great teams out there, some great fighters that should be on this. They don't realise how big IMMAF is. That's the problem. They just think it's an amateur event. We need them involved. The more top athletes and top clubs we have involved, the more results, the more medals we get. Puts Ireland on the picture, helps justify and sort of acknowledge our sport in Ireland. So I think it's the way to go. And the more clubs, the more athletes sign up, the better. The better for everybody.
Yeah, and then Ryan, you obviously won gold. Can you tell people how that spurred you on ever since you've won gold? Like, how has your mindset in training changed?
It just shows you the levels that you're able to reach. You know what I mean? And for example, look at Mohamed Mokaev. He won 2-time gold. He was a 2-time world champion, and he went straight onto Brave. You know what I mean? It gives you the platform then for when you're turning professional. So you don't have to start from the very bottom. You already have a little bit of experience behind you, a little bit of clout behind you, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then to go on, he only had 6-0 now, and he's gone straight to the UFC. That's because he had that following behind him, and he built himself up through the IMMAFs.
Yeah, I myself and Ross have noticed that it does really help in the amateur scenes to build up a bit of a following, and then when you go into pro, you already have the people following you and push you, and the organizations will want you.
And you've already felt the level of the guys. You know what I mean? Because one of the time we were out there was a Brave event on in between the day of the final. There was the semi-finals, then there was a Brave event, and then the finals, and the level of the finals was actually better than the professional event that was on the day before.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it just goes to show, if you're fighting in the IMMAFs, you're fighting the best all around the world.
Yeah. I suppose at certain stage, especially the finals in the IMMAFs, you're actually fighting for a championship, and sometimes when you're fighting on a show, or just a a general show. You know what I mean, win, lose or draw. You know what I mean. It's not as much on the line. So when you do get to the very latter stages of competitions, it really shows that the people there really, really want it. And then speaking of sort of, the finals and championships, obviously in February, and the nationals are coming up, and it'll be the first time ever Ireland's had national champions in each weight class. How excited are you for that? And how good is that going to be for the future of Irish MMA?
Yeah, very excited. We tried to do it last year and the year before with COVID. We were knocked in the head. We actually a big venue booked, and we had the cages now ready to go, and then it was knocked on the head. We got advice from Sports Council and stuff not to run it. So I'm really glad. And listen, I can't be saying too much, but make sure you enter, make sure you get a place, and make sure you try and win that gold medal, because there's a few big events coming up, and there's a very big one coming up very soon. And if you're the number one, it could be a good year for you.
Yeah, for the people that want to check out the Irish Nationals, they're on from Friday, the 18th of February to the 20th of February, and they're not to be missed.
Yeah, we'll definitely make an appearance at them.
Yeah, and listen, there's loads of good clubs there that still aren't affiliated. Get your club affiliated and get your students signed up. We need big, strong teams. That's what people don't realise. The more better fighters we have, the better we're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to call yourself the best in the country, you have to have your name in the hat.
Yeah, of course.
And Ryan, will we see your name in the hat there for the nationals?
Oh, 100%. When is registration actually? Is that still open, is it?
It's open, yeah.
Right, deadly. I have to register for that first, so yeah.
Ross, you should register as well, man. We mightn't get on, but we at least you've registered, It's got to be in it to win it.
You guys need to go and see an IMMAF event.
Absolutely.
I know.
You need, because
that'd be brilliant.
I'm trying to tell more press people about it, and people don't understand until you go to the hotel, and it's 300 or 400 athletes in a hotel and coaches and people from all over the world. You're mixing together, and then you're on the bus and you're in the venue and you see the different fights going on. It's a totally different experience than any MMA event. It needs to be experienced. It needs to be seen.
Yeah, I'd actually love to see two fights simultaneously going on, like cages that are side by side. I think it's cool.
Yeah, sometimes there's like 4 fights going on.
Yeah, the
3,
world's
4 fights.
4 fights. Could be more cages. Yeah.
Jeez, that's crazy.
And they're just rolled on. There's no waiting about. It's constant over the day. 60, 70 fights a day. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting Israel Adesanya doing a dance before the walkout.
No music. Get out, get in, get the fight on, get out, next people in.
No, that's it. Go on, Baz.
No, I'm just obviously myself and Ross want to go over to them. Like we're hardly just doing these shows because we just love MMA. We want to be promoting it and going, but obviously it's like Abu Dhabi and we're not made of money. But who knows?
No one's going to contribute to a GoFundMe for us to go there.
I know it's
we can't. That's the thing is we can't ask for a GoFundMe when the athletes are trying to get the money. I mean, it's them first. And
I know. And see, as you're saying that, like I've done every one of these events, and what we got one sponsored for the kids, but it costs a fortune. And then I have coaches now will come to me and say, we want to be involved. You're going to send me to the Worlds? No, you pay yourself. This people don't realize sometimes the coaches travel over with the fighters and they're up in the morning, they're going to the weigh-ins with them, they're paying their own way, they're paying for the hotel, all this. So we pay the same entries that the fighters pay. It's crazy.
I think it's crazy as a coaching fee to enter. That's insane.
It's just because
and the fact that it's the same price is mental because
but it's the same in all big sports. I competed around the world with judo, and it's the same. It's that registration and. Someone's paying for them hotels and them venues and them cages. You know what I mean? So that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, hopefully more and more medals come back to Ireland, and then it's just it'll be more
eyes on it, and then
that's the thing. I think you
listen
guys at the beginning.
We get no money from anybody. You look at judo, wrestling, and stuff that are around a long time. You don't get anything. A couple of individuals might get a couple of quid, or an association might get a small grant. You're going to
go on, Andy.
Go on. No,
I was going to say that there are a few people who are still on standby. What would your advice be to them? Because it only takes one person to maybe, get COVID or someone to get injured to still make the team.
Yeah, if you're really ready and you're focused and you're coming over there to win a medal, you're not going on holiday. Yeah, be ready to go. But listen, this is happening at the end of January. The Nationals are in February, so be ready anyway. Get in and secure your spot. Get that number 1 spot in February. And then you're not going to be sitting on the fence there waiting all year to go away. You're going to have the number 1 choice.
I'm sorry, Andy, just 4 nationals, just to clarify, how many spots are available at each weight class?
As many as enter.
Okay, so it depends on entry.
Yeah. But realistically, like, if you're a total novice and never fought before, you're not going to enter the nationals, eh? You'll be fighting Ryan, your first fight. That's what people are going to, it's realistically
Who knows, Andy?
down the road.
I'm a wild dog.
You don't know me when I'm angry.
Yeah, I think as well, down the road, we should be maybe looking the way the boxing goes, novice, intermediate, senior, elite, that type of thing, so, I think it's the way forward.
In fairness, a lot of people in Ireland are amateur mixed martial artists by title only. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They train full time, and that's their gig. But Baz, anything else left to add in there?
I was going to say, like, it's funny how it's only just January. The New Year's just come, and like, there's like, it's already about to blow up already with the World Championships going down, and then the Irish Nationals as well. So if you are going to be tuning in, or you're interested in checking out, make sure to check out the lads at Coach_Andy Ryan_ and Ryan_Keogh MMA, because like the two lads are doing amazing things, and it's brilliant following the sport, and then seeing these two lads like either like being the head coach of the Irish team and winning gold for Ireland. It's just it's great. It's absolutely great. So if you are new to the show, make sure to like, subscribe, and if you're on Spotify, make sure to hit the 5-star as well, because we're going to be keeping you updated with the Irish IMMAF team as well. Just before we wrap things up, Andy, is there anything you want to tell any of the athletes flying over or coaches not to forget, bar sun cream
and their passport?
Yeah, and their heart. Don't forget heart.
Mm-hmm.
Now listen, everyone going over is on the ball, and we've some great coaches going to help out. So a lot of these coaches have been there before, so they know the score, and they know to help out all them. Just be going over there with an open mind and be part of a team. But you have that, you're not going on holidays. You're going over there for competition. You're spending all that money and traveling the other side of the world to win a medal. To help you and help your sport. You're not going on holidays. And some people have that, and what flip-flops will I bring with me this time? And what's done? You'd be surprised. So we want to, and behave yourself. You're representing your country. You're representing your flag. We're under the spotlight, and especially in Abu Dhabi, there's no messing about. And I think we've some good guys going, some girls going, and great coaching squad going. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how the ladies do. The ladies are going to surprise people. With some very, very good athletes going over, So I think they're the ones to watch on this event.
Yeah, and Ryan, what about yourself? What do you have to tell any of the athletes going over, like who
just
are
stay
looking to achieve gold?
Yeah.
Just the focus is the biggest thing over there, because you're going to be walking around, you'll be seeing the people you're fighting, and like the main thing is, like, after your first fight, you haven't won anything yet.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to stay focused.
Yeah, you can have a celebration after you win the gold medal.
Yeah, celebrate when you get home, even, like, you know what I mean?
No,
it's not a holiday. That's
it's not.
We've had it before
for business.
Yeah, we've had it before where guys have won a couple of fights and got sunburned, and walking around in Rome. You know what I mean? And then failed medically the next morning, or got sunstroke or heat stroke, whatever. So
taking the right water and right foods, everything. Like,
because you have to make weight every day as well.
Yeah.
Team Ireland better be listening right now.
Stay on point. Do it for Team Ireland. Andy, Ryan, thanks a million for joining us today. Really, really appreciate the time. Two absolute legends. Again, I'll reiterate what Barry said. If you are watching this video, make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bells to see all Irish MMA content on the Energized show. And as always, stay energized.
Energized show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you've done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.